Welcome to the Let It Bleed podcast, a place where you can hear the liquor-fueled ramblings of two narcissistic wizards who conjure the essence of inspirational people every week and bring it straight to you.
And just how do you plan on doing that? Magic. Motherfucker.
And now for the wizards themselves, David Amaya and Phil Arroyo.
Voila Margulis, man.
What a fucking crazy ass day, dude. Or week, or month, or whatever. It's just been crazy.
So what is going on? You started frantically telling me. I'm just like, no, save it. Let me hit record first.
It's been really difficult to try to get it out because I'm just like, I'm in communication. I'm like exhausted from communicating, but not only verbally, but just through email and messenger and just about everything. Because we're going to Lost in the Sauce. Like in a couple days, taking all the art out there. And so just renting, just logistics, everything that goes into planning these sorts of things and being the one who is basically in charge of coordinating it and being the middleman and, just trying to work all these things out. It's fucking exhausting. I just can't wait till we're out there and having a great time because I really am excited about it. It's going to be a fucking awesome time. And like everything that was stressful before about, kind of not really thinking that we were going to have the art the way we wanted it to be or like that kind of stuff. It's really started to come together in ways that I'm very happy about. Like I'm excited for what we are bringing out there. Now the thing is just about making sure we get it out there in time, so.
Yeah, the logistics are always it's crazy enough just personally getting ready to go out to something like that, man. I cannot imagine really having to throw something together at that scale and getting it that far away. That sounds fucking crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how things switch up too. As I said, we were worried about other aspects not living up to what we wanted them to be, but and having certain other aspects in the clear, but then shit flips and all of a sudden the situation changes. And so where we had a free ride up to this place, like a free tow and free all that stuff, it kind of just something happened and we no longer had that. So now this truck rental situation is much more it's not ideal, but it's what else are we gonna do? And
yeah, that shit gets intricate, man. That's fucking
and
rough. How
quotes have just gone up from when I got a quote the other day to now, it's gone up like $10 a day. So
what?
Yeah,
shit,
it's
man.
searching for flights. I'm not sure if these browsers are fucking their websites or whatever. You'd probably know more than that. Maybe it's me just being frustrated with it, but they know you're looking, so they're like, all right, well this fool's looking, so we're just gonna raise the fucking thing on them. So
yeah, they're gonna track it and gouge it and stuff like that. And I think as you get closer to the day of, that's when they start raising it on you too.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
So I mean that makes sense. That does. And yeah, I don't know. I've got to go to work in a little bit and just go hustle some more. And, that's what we do. That's what this is about. It's about people like us who are just, making shit happen when we are still, working and doing the whole job thing too.
Yeah, you got to hustle all that together, one table at a time, for every day that fucking thing goes on.
Right. Exactly.
Well, man, that's fucking dope though. I'm fucking pumped. Y'all got some pictures. Do you have people out there, documenting the whole thing?
Yeah, we have. Well, I know there's going to be a couple people there that are bringing their cameras, but we actually have one girl, Randy Aguilar. She's goes by her artist name is Made in China, and she's been doing some really cool stuff. And I know she's going to be there.
Her artist name is Made in China?
Yeah.
Oh, that's got to be hard to Google search optimize for. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's been doing this really cool, more of a, I don't know what you'd call it. She has some pretty dope art photos. It's not just a photo that's a typical photo. It's going to be, definitely edited to look trippy as fuck. And I'm excited to have her come and join and document the Lion's Den. And then anybody else who's there, and I can talk to, I'll definitely have them come around and do it. So Jimmy and Apples and you guys, unfortunately won't be out there. So it's like, the people who normally do this sort of stuff. But it's always good to try something new. You know.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
So is there any good things you can tease people with? Any spoilers you can drop?
I mean, you're just gonna
about shit you guys are planning, or is it supposed to be still surprise?
Nah, you're gonna. I mean, you could already look at the lineup. We have 2 stacked lineups for both stages. You know, set. The main stage looks ridiculous. It was built in by someone who lives out there on the property, and it's just fucking ridiculously cool. It's a secret location, so I can't really give too much away on exactly where it's at, but it's pretty rad. I've seen videos of it there. I've checked it out. Checked out the land a couple months ago, and so the main stage is going to be going off. You know, it's going to be a huge area, going to be a fun party, and then we're going to be up the hills a little way with the dome, and we're going to be. Oh, but since last week, there's this there's some crazy shit that happened that we didn't even actually get to talk about yet, and I'm glad that I thought about this. I can't believe I didn't even think.
You're talking about Nick's dome?
About the dome, yeah, about the dome being taken.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. It was really insane. So, that was another thing that added a bunch of stress to the whole situation where there was absolutely no stress before, or no, for a while, because as I probably mentioned before, we had worried initially about how we were going to get the dome, because Nick had ended up letting somebody borrow this dome out of his, good nature, just being a friendly person and allowing this person to take the dome out to this festival. I guess the agreement with the person agreed to help him fix a few of the rods that, ironically, I was the one who bent at or an eclipse by climbing the damn thing. But, so he was going to help him fix those. Took it out, and Nick not really being super pushy about the thing, or he wasn't badgering the guy at all, or he was just being lenient about it and didn't give him any sort of written contract or anything. Just waited a while and didn't hear back from him, and then started to hit him up, and the guy was kind of being flaky, saying, oh, it's going to have to be this time, I'm traveling, this and that. Then, after a while of just kind of getting blown off, he was told that that the dome was actually never even taken down from the last site that it was at. So it was at this, festival site that they left it at. So we're starting to freak out, thinking, what the hell? How are we going to get this thing back? The guy's being flaky.
What a fucking
Nick
dick,
didn't.
dude.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
He borrowed it and then just fucking left it.
Right. I mean, the guy was full of excuses and all these apologies and
Who the
stuff.
fuck does
Yeah, he was just full of excuses, and Nick kind of finally, was over it, but still, patient and whatnot, and wouldn't. We wanted to find out where it was, but the guy just wouldn't get back to him. So it kind of seemed a little shady. And anyway, so the guy, come to find out, this whole time in the beginning, I was thinking that Lost in the Sauce was going to be where it was last year, out in the Mojave, just somewhere out off 395, and turns out it wasn't a new location. So when I heard the directions to the new location, and I heard where Nick's, because it's they don't have an address, they give you this long list of directions, go past the 4th post behind the bar, this, and then you make a right here, and
look for the squirrel bones.
Look for the squirrel bones, and yeah, exactly. So they fucking, it clicked in my head. I'm like, the dome was probably at the same spot. If it seems like he took it out to another event and we're going to something out here, it's probably going to be in the same spot. And so sure enough, it is, right? And we called to find out, or we got in touch, which was another thing that was difficult. The whole middleman thing, getting in touch with the landowners, to find out whether it was there or not was a struggle. But then we did, and we're just kind of stressing about the condition of it. And so we're like, how does it look? And they said it was messed up. That's all we had to go off of. So when we went out there, we were relieved to find that it was just bent at the top, and it wasn't that bad of a bend. And we decided, because we didn't have the means at the time to even take it down and bring it all the way back, and didn't think that would be beneficial, being that it was going to be there for a couple months or whatever. We're going to be there again in a couple months. Decided to leave it up and they only had one more festival at the end of March, or party there at the end of March that was going to be there. And so we left it, just asking the landowners to say, hey, can you please just like make sure like they don't fuck it up? We're going to be using this. Yeah, totally. It's cool. And the landowners were awesome. They're really nice people. The only thing is they don't know us really well. They met us that one day. They meet a lot of fucking people because they host these sort of parties all the time with different groups and shit. And so, when it came to last Sunday, when these people showed up saying that they were going to take the dome, there was supposedly this miscommunication, and these people took the dome. But, this was all discovered later. When we initially heard, I was at work, I think it was maybe Wednesday or Thursday. And
yeah, I had a little roller coaster ride of emotion because I don't check Facebook as often. And so I saw the first part, which was Nick like, fuck, somebody stole my dome.
Yeah.
Like, after all that shit, I was like, no. And then I scrolled down one more post. It's like, yo, found it, miscommunication.
Right.
Like, but it was like a day later. I was like, woo.
Right.
Man.
Well, yeah. So, like, all I get is a call from Anya, who is the, like, person I've been communicating with through Fuzzy Puddles. And so it was like, hey, like, she's like, where the dome isn't there. Like, she's like, what? And she's like, yeah, your guys' dome is gone. Did one of you guys go take it? We're like, no. What the fuck? And I was just like, dude, fuck. This is bad. And, start, while I'm at work, having to go and communicate, like, bounce back and forth between Nick, between Riley, who's the other guy that's setting up with us, and, trying to get other options, because we're less than a week out at this point from the festival, and so we need to have something. And, even though at that point we had agreed that, like, okay, well, we'll just use carports, that'll be our next thing. But it still, taking away from the dome what we had planned, which we had bought all this stuff for, had lights configured for the dome and like a setup for it and a parachute and stuff that we purchased. Just the biggest thing was the idea that somebody had the nerve to go and actually fucking do that. And so you can't really help but like start to play detective and wonder what the fuck could have happened. And naturally you're going to, think of scenarios that you don't want to think of and assume things. And so like there were a couple different ones, but the main thing that like came into our head was, well, that guy who initially borrowed it, because back to that, the guy who had initially borrowed it and left it there. Later, when we had, told him we had gotten to it, we knew where it was at, he was like, oh, all right, cool, and he was messaging Nick and talking to Nick, and I guess they belonged to some group chat where this other guy was thinking that he was, for some reason, taking that dome to Burning Man, because the guy who had borrowed it initially and never gave it back told him he could. And so Nick was like, nah, man, sorry. Like, you guys didn't really take good care of it, but I'm like, no hard feelings, but I'm just not going to be able to loan it out to you guys anymore. And then so, that's obviously like the way anybody would go about it. But the one thing that I thought about, well, yeah, but I kind of was worried. I was like, well, it's still out there. We don't have it in our possession. And I would be lying if I didn't think, like, what's to stop those guys from going out there and, just taking it on their own. So when this happened and it, we thought, okay, did they take it from the last festival? No, it was on the Sunday. It was this last Sunday. So these people went out there and took it. No, and we're like, they must have known that we're going to be out there. They took it before we can go get it and bring it back. That's what we thought. Turns out that the landowner, she mistook these other gentlemen for us when they were there after we had gone. They were there before we had gone, and they were asking her about it. And she was like, no, they just left it here. The guy just left it here. Before she knew us, before she knew that it was ours for sure, she had told these other guys, well, these other people just left it here, because they did. And so those guys were like, well, fuck, we want to come back and get it. We need to, take care of this thing, because it's just a shame that somebody like left it here, And so she at the time said, yeah, you could do that. Well, they ended up coming back much later and I'm not sure if she was there or not. So like, you know, there's just this big old miscommunication. If somebody comes out there on their own like that and just says, hey, we're going to go pick up this dome, like it kind of seems as though that's somebody who, like, you know, owns the thing. And so it got taken down and they had it. And luckily the lady who runs the property, like, you know, got in contact with them and managed to get in contact with them pretty quick when she realized that, you know, what was going on, and got back to Nick, and they were really cool. They were really nice, and they like took really good care of it. And, you know, the one guy drove like about 100 miles to go meet up with where they had stored it at, just so that, you know, we can get it back.
Oh shit, that's cool, man. Well, it's a parable of, you know, good faith in people and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, luckily not every character in the story was as shitty as we thought they were at the beginning.
Right, exactly. So, you know, it was a happy ending, and we got a lot of support from the community through those posts too. And, you know, not to like say that it was in any way intentional, but the, you know, I guess you could say
it's
the
own
publicity,
commercial.
yeah, the publicity from it.
Yeah, publicity.
Got, you know, it got back, and so that was good.
Well, that's fucking dope, man. And so can people still get tickets and stuff like that? Get the location and
Yes, you could still get tickets to the location. However, time will be running out for that, because, you know, you could get them there, but I'm not sure if you'll be able to get the directions. The directions, I think, are going to be emailed out the day of. And so it's going to kind of just be like, at that point, a word of mouth thing if you don't have a ticket yet, because they'll send you an email if you buy the ticket, but the last time is whenever the last person who runs the ticket sales decides to go out there. You know, it's like...
So is that going to be like Friday?
I would say you could probably get it by Friday, but I would say Thursday just to be safe, because most of them are going out Thursday.
Okay, so if anybody's hearing this and they decide on the day of that this drops...
I would say Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do it quick.
Do
Do
it now.
it fast.
Get it done now. You won't regret it.
Well, they can't hear this now and we're recording it.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I would do this as soon as you hear this shit, because it is going to be well worth every penny that you pay. You know, there's just for the main stage alone, it's nonstop, 3 days of fucking music, never a break of just heavy bass and drum and bass music, experimental bass. So if you're into any of the bass stuff, like, you are going to, you know, your ear holes are going to be fucking ejaculating all over the place. So you're going to want to...
They got plenty of tents, plenty of, you know, domes ready to capture all of it.
Yes. And, of course, the Lion's Den stage is going to have 2 nights full of house music, house techno. And, you know, during the day, we're going to just have it set up as a really cool lounge, like a little tea lounge area, cuddle puddle area, just... with a few little workshops, you know, yoga class and like a Reiki session. And then I think I'm going to be getting down on a jam session out there with some of the dudes, you know, and maybe even start like a little drum circle. So it'll be fucking, it's going to be fun.
Well, that's fucking rad, man.
Yeah.
We'll have fun. Congrats on all that.
Yep. And...
Let's see. I'll post some links to the Facebook page and where people can get tickets and stuff like that. Everybody check us out on, you know, make sure you're subscribing to the podcast and listen to us every Thursday, however you get your podcasts. And make sure you follow us on social media too, at Let It Bleedcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yep. And yeah, as always, you could follow me at Hoodrat Stuff with 3 Fs. Follow the Psychedelic Lion's Den. Definitely, if you can't make it out, follow us and check out what we actually did there. If you want to get part of it for future events and everything else, you're more than welcome. You know, we encourage, we're very highly inclusive, and we're going to continue to grow and keep doing this sort of thing. And so, yeah, you know, we apologize for the really, really short episode this week, because both Phil and I are super swamped. As you could tell, I've had quite the week and still have a ways to go right now before I'm out there and in the clear. So thank you all for tuning in. Anything else you got to say, Phil?
You know what? That is it. It can wait until next week.
It can wait till... All right. Perfect. All right, man. Well, thank you all for tuning in. As always, let it bleed.